What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Demon Reads Comics. Today we're continuing on with Frank Miller's Sin City universe. This is the second to last book we're reading, and it's not that we're reading, it's we got one more book left, and that's it. That's all he came out with. So, anyway, this one is called Booze, Broads, and Bullets. And again, it comes in a beautiful, beautiful absolute slipcase. And as you can see here, it's the T from the city. Like I previously been mentioning, that if you put them all together, it spells out Sin City. So just like the other ones, this one has a different graphics on it. This one kind of has like a whole bunch of little dots. I don't know what it is. Maybe blood spatter, maybe. But let's go ahead and pull everything out. Set that right there. This one, like the other ones, also comes with this. They all came with this, actually. The portfolio picture, again, like the other ones, it's the same graphic design as the absolute cover, but in matte black and shiny black for the spots. And then inside, as you guys can see there, it's a picture of Marv. Beautiful, beautiful. I love that they do that in all of them. Like I previously mentioned, I wish they would have incorporated Frank Miller's signature in there somewhere. You know, that would have been awesome. But, you know, who knows why they didn't do it. Anyway, so now let's take a look at the book itself. Again, like the portfolio, it's all black with the little splats, the graphics in shiny black. This is the front by Frank Miller, Sin City, Booze, Broads, and Bullets. The spine of the cover, Sin City, Booze, Broads, and Bullets, published by Dark Horse Comics. And as you guys can see there, it's book number 6. And the back of it says, if I can bring myself to murder the only man I've ever loved, I can do anything, by Blue Eyes. And the pages do have that red still on it, like all of the rest of them do. And I want to show you guys. Oh, there we go. Sewn binding, which is amazing. No problems and no issues with these books. I have had issues with the binding on some of them, and I've tried to fix them. So we'll see how they come out once I start reading them. The only issues that I've been having lately with these books is when the hold on, there we go. When the shiny graphic is on this part of it right here, when you start opening the book to read it and then you finally finish it up, there's like a white little line on it, like the crease. I'm not a big fan of that, but you know, what can you really do? You know, you can't really complain on it. But anyway, let's go ahead and crack this open. Let's talk about it, and let's talk about the riders and everything like that. All right, everybody. So here it is, Frank Miller's Sin City, Booze, Broads, and Bullets. I'm not going to lie, I wasn't the biggest fan of this book, only because it was just a collection of a whole bunch of short stories. And what I mean by that is, like I previously mentioned in the other one, let's see if I can, because this is a short or small book too. There's 150 pages, considering like the first 3-4 books were like 200 and something pages. This one's only 150. And it being 150, just a quick look at that. I love this part always, the Sin City Volume 6. Before we get started on it, if you guys want to take a look at that, the president and publisher, the original and previous editions editor, collection of the editor. There's just a whole bunch of them to mention, but it's by Frank Miller. Now here's what I'm talking about. These are all the stories collected in this book. So it's, you know, each story is like 1 or 2 pages and then next, 1 or 2, 3 pages and then next. So I'm just not a big fan of that. I get why they did it. I get why they didn't put it in the movie, but you know, it's just, yeah, God, I wasn't a big fan of it. You know, I mean, look, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 stories in a 150-page book. And obviously you got the dedication in the gallery. And even at that, it starts on page 6 and only goes to 128. So there's roughly 121 pages of story Like that's nothing. The one thing I do want to say though that I do like is I don't know if you guys ever seen the first movie, how in the beginning, I don't know, Jesus, what's his name? If you guys don't mind, I can look it up real quick. But he had like a very short cameo in the very beginning of it, where he's talking to this girl in a red dress, and he only shows up for that one brief moment. And I believe he also shows up in the last part, real quick, with Becky. He's like a doctor, and that's it. And his name is like the man, the guy, or like the assassin. And he doesn't play a big part in that Sin City universe at all, but he is in there. And what I do like about that is he actually shows up in this, actually. And give me 1 second. His name was... Oh, come on, come on. The Man? Yeah. By I'm sorry, played by Josh Hartnett. So yeah, you barely saw him anyway, but they do include him here, which is kind of nice. But still, I wasn't the biggest fan of this. I mean, you do get a story with Marv in it, which is kind of nice. Just another Saturday night, which is a story of Marv. But what I don't like about this one, well, okay, I don't want to say I don't like it, but it's a little bit different than what I'm used to, right? Because we're so used to flipping through the pages, reading the story. And there's one, actually, it's not even this one. I think there's another one, actually, where there's no story at all. Like, I mean, it's just pictures and pictures. It tells a story in the pictures, but it was a little bit weird. Now, what I did like about this is that they brought back the color accents, like they did in the 4th book. They took it out in the 5th book, and then they brought it back here. But yeah, this is the story of Marv. I don't want to give away these stories, because the second you talk about him, that's the whole story. But yeah, this is the story of Marv. It's not so long. I mean, there's Nancy. These ones was going to be kind of hard to talk about because there's so many stories, small little stories to talk about, that if I tell you this is a story about this, this is a story about this, it would go on forever. And so instead of doing that with this one, just know that it's a bunch of short stories by a whole bunch of different people. The first story is about Marv, as you guys can see here. And I think this is the longest story, actually. Yeah, right there. It ends right there. And that's the story of Marv. I think there's another story in here of Marv as well. This is called the... I think this is called the... Hold on. Let me stick with my finger right here. Yeah, because the next one's called Fat Man and Little Boy. And I think they're called Mr. Clump. I think it is Mr. Clump and... No, that Clump... Well, they call them... They have different names, but they're Douglas Clump and Bert Schlub. But they call each other Mr. Clump and Mr. Schlub. And it's just a story about them. You do see them a lot in the Sin City stories, actually. You see them with John Hardigan. You see them with Dwight. So you do actually see them a lot. And I'm kind of glad they get their own story. But when you... They're kind of weird, though, because when you actually try to read what they're talking about, they're trying to... They sound smart, but they really aren't. But it's just a small, short story about Mr. Schlub and Mr. Clump. And I think that's where it ends. Right there. Actually, as a matter of fact, it ended right there. And the next one is The Customer is Always Right. And I believe this is the one that I was talking about, that you saw in the very first part of the movie Sin City, of the assassin, the man, played by Josh Hartnett. It's just a girl sitting out in the... in the balcony while it's raining. He offers a smoke, and that's about it. That's where it ends, right there. I mean, something happens, but, like, that's where it ends. Silent Night is the one that I was talking about. It's another story of Marv, but this one's a little bit different because you don't read anything. You just see the pictures. It's great. The art is fantastic, but the only thing that you get from it is the be good. That's all it says. Be good. Be good with what? Like, is he telling himself? Is he telling somebody else? But as you can see here, it doesn't show anything else. It's him walking in the snow. Pictures of his face. Keeps walking, walks up to like a building, probably like a jail, no, not even a jail cell, but he keeps walking. There he meets with the female. You don't even know who this female is. Like, it can be, I think it's Gail, maybe? And that's like maybe little Nancy, like, I don't know. Then you get the, you know, some blam, blam, blam. And oh, here we go. Oh, her name's not Nancy, it's Kimberly. The reason I thought it was Nancy, because we saw Nancy when she was a little girl. Other than that, we didn't see any other story. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of a good story, even though you don't know what's going on, because there's no like comment. It says the end. You being good yet? That's all he says. Like, that's all Marv says. And then you get the next story, because that's where it ends right there. And the next story, I do believe it's Marv again. Maybe. And behind door number 3. The reason I'm kind of like, who is it? Because it's like, you read them so quickly that you don't have time to digest it. You just dive right into the next story, the next story, and the next story. And it kind of sucks. So these are, I don't know. Yeah, these are the girls from O-Town. I believe that's Wendy up here. Or it can be Goldie, actually. It actually probably is Goldie, because that was a picture of Marv. And this is Gail. And that's where it ended, right there. So, yeah. Like, I don't know if... So that story wasn't about Marv. That was just a picture of Marv. And that was kind of a short story of either Wendy or Goldie and of Gail. And then you move on to Blue Eyes, the next story. So you move on right away. Small short story of Blue Eyes. You do see Gail. You see Becky. You see Nancy. That's why they call her Blue Eyes, because she has a blue accent, which is cool. And I think that's where it ends, and you get the next one, Rats. Rats was kind of weird, actually. I had no idea what it was about. Like, I don't know if that was John Hardigan while he was in the jail cell. I think it is. But it's just some old man, and I don't know who that old man is. And it's probably not even John Hardigan, actually, to be honest with you. I don't know who the story is about. And it actually, I think that's where it ended. Nope. It ends right here, actually. So, yeah, I don't even know what the story, who is that, actually. And then you got Daddy's Little Girl. I don't even know who's... I do want to think that... Like, I don't know who this is. It might be Mort. Oh, no, never mind. It's Johnny. Johnny, okay. You guys remember in the second movie? Because on some of them, they don't even mention names, actually, which kind of sucks. You just kind of read and kind of have to figure out who's who. And that's what kind of sucks about it. I love the pink accent in this, though. So this is a story about Johnny. I'm sure if you guys seen A Dame to Kill for the second movie they came out with, he was a guy that was always lucky when it came to playing poker or, gambling. And he's trying to go up against his dad with the Rourkes. But I don't even think that's this story, but this is a story about Johnny. Yeah, see, Johnny. I'm sorry, Johnny, but Daddy's got 10 older. I don't even know what that means. Yeah, anyway. But yeah, that was a story about Johnny. Then you got another story about Blue Eyes. These are just amazing, though. Amazing. This one is a little bit longer, though. That's what I appreciated. Wrong Track. Blue Eyes again. And then The Babe Wore Red. This is kind of like narrated a little bit. There's not like much when it comes to, like, there's a lot of reading, but it's all like narrated. I kind of want to say this is actually Dwight too, but because of his Chuck Taylors and the way he looks. But it's just Dwight is in so much stuff, like, and his face changes so many times. You don't know if it's Dwight or somebody else, but I believe this story has to do with Dwight. And this one actually goes on for a while, actually, and it ends with that story, dedicated to Will Eisner. I don't know who that is. I apologize, but there is a nice gallery, which is what I wanted to get to towards the end. There we go. I love this right here, the color of it, the color aspect that they did. I really wish they come out with, like another collection of it being colored. This right here is amazing to me. This is amazing. I gotta be careful because there is a little bit of nudity in the back. There's Nancy, the woman in red. There's the actually portfolio picture of Marv. There's a little bit of nudity there, but you can't even really tell. Another thing of Nancy. And then there's the last part of it right there. And then you got a picture of Marv at the end. And that's about it. Like I said, it's kind of hard to really go into detail and what the plot of these stories is, because there's really no plot to the stories at all. It's just a whole bunch of short stories, of Marv, of the man, one of Dwight, of Blue Eyes, of Fat Man and the little, Mr. Clump and Mr. Slub. And it's just, the story of it is just like, you can't really tell a plot of it, because once you give the plot out, that's the whole story. So yeah, it's just a whole bunch of like small short stories. I know the next one is a big book it's called Hell and Back, and it's a completely new character from all the people we know. I haven't read it yet, so I know it's just somebody completely different, so I'm excited to go into that. But let's go ahead and talk about the rating of this book. Alright guys, so what am I going to give a rating to this one? While I enjoyed these because I kind of didn't know what I was going into, I did know some of the stories, like obviously the one with the man. I knew that one because they showed it in the movie. I think there was another one that they showed in the movie, but besides that, I didn't know anything about the short stories. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't mind the short stories when they kind of come together in the bigger universe, like they did in the Criminal thing. Like there was a big, like 5 or 6 comics, and then it stopped, and then they jumped to the next one, 5 or 6 comics, and it was a completely different person. So it's pretty much like the same thing they've been doing in this as well, right? You got the story of John Hartigan, you got the story of Dwight McCarthy, you got the story of Marv, you got another story of Dwight McCarthy. I like that because it's all in the same universe. It's based in Basin City, which is Sin City. But these ones were a little bit too short for my liking, right? And so I can't really give this like a proper rating because it's a whole bunch of short stories. So what I'm going to do, like overall, what I'm going to give this book is a 7. I've been giving them an 8, a 9, but this one I'm going to give a 7. Yeah, I'm still going to keep it, but it's just, another reason I'm giving it a 7 is because they introduced the colors again. If they didn't introduce the colors again, like the accent colors, I probably would have given this a 6. Because it's so much short stories that it didn't really interest me that much. Like by the time, like I don't know, an hour into it, I read 4 or 5 different short stories already, and I was like, what was the first one about? That's why it was kind of hard for me to be like, wait, who was this one about again? Because there were so many short stories and a quick read of that. I was like, wait, what was that about? Like at least with the first ones, I know I can, go ahead and tell you what the story of Marv was, the first story of Dwight, the second story of Dwight. I can tell you what, the Yellow Bastard was about. I can tell you what family values was about. But this one, it's kind of like damn, I read so quick, like it kind of jumbled all together, you know? And I didn't really like that. So that's why I'm giving this a 7, because I did like that they introduced the colors again. And the overall still of the whole universe of the Sin City books, I'm still giving it an 8. So that's just my opinion. I know some people love this book. Some people, you know, don't. I don't like it that much. My least favorite book in the Sin City universe so far. They probably could have done without it, in my personal opinion. You know, maybe done something different, but that's just me. But anyway, a quick recap of this book. Sin City Absolute by Frank Miller, Booze, Broads, and Bullets. Published by Dark Horse Books Comics. It's called actually Dark Horse Books, but I call it Dark Horse Comics. And it does have sewn binding. And it does have a ribbon. I don't know if you guys saw that at the end. It does have a ribbon like every single other one. So there you go, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I know this wasn't much of a review because I can't really get into like each little story in this. But I hope you guys like the pictures of it, the graphics, the art, the color accents. I enjoyed it very much. So I hope you guys liked it. If you guys did, leave a like. Leave a like. Leave a comment down if you guys enjoyed this book at all, and if you didn't, let me know why, because I'm sure we can actually come to some sort of a same understanding as to why we didn't like it. We do have one more book to go, and then we're going to move on to the next one. I think the next book I'm going to read is called Kill or Be Killed by Ed Brubaker. Finally came in after 2.5 weeks of waiting, and after that, I think I'm going to read The Disciple, or The Discipline, and then Hot Paprika, and then Carmen, and then I'm gonna start the Watchmen franchise or series. So yeah, I got a list still to do. I mean, I got Preacher, Sandman, Spawn. The Spawn one, you guys are probably gonna get tired of it, and that one I'm probably gonna try to break it down because I have 7 compendiums of it, and it's just, how can you sit down and really tell stories of Spawn and the entire universe of Spawn in 7 compendiums, like one back to back, right? Like, I don't mind doing these short stories because it's like 200, maybe, some pages. But the Spawn compendiums are like 600, 700 pages, 1,000 pages. It gets up there. So anyway, leave a like in the comment. I'd appreciate that. Leave it also in the comments. Let me know what books you guys want me to read. I have on my list. In the way I start them off is I kind of go on Amazon. I want this one. I want this one. And then I get a whole bunch in my cart. And then I kind of go and find book reviews of that book to see if it interests me. And if it doesn't, I delete them. Once I delete to the ones I know which ones I want to get, then I go and try to find from Amazon to cheap graphic novels, in-stock trades, organic price books, to see where it's cheaper and go from there. I don't really like dealing with cheap graphic novels or in-stock trades because if there's an issue with the book, they take so long to try to help you out. And even at that, when they try to help you out, they don't actually help you out that much. At least with Amazon, when the book comes damaged or if something's wrong with the book, you send it back and they'll send you a new one right away, which I appreciate. So it just kind of depends on what your taste in it or what your preferred store is. But I kind of shop with like all 4 at a time. So let me know what you guys, if you guys recommend anything. I'll definitely look into it, see what I like and don't like, and I'll go from there. And if you guys haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps build my channel and get my videos out there for other people to watch. I really want people to watch my videos so they can kind of get an understanding what the book's about and maybe make a decision on their own. So that being said, we'll see you on the next one.